I hope everybody is doing wonderful. Today, my friends, it is just me, just the camera, no Scrivener, no PowerPoint, no Keynote, nothing. Okay? And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk ethnography. So, not writing, but data collection. Because that's what I do. I'm an ethnographer. And I spent 15 months studying salespeople from my PhD dissertation. So anyway, what I want to do today is really answer the question of how long should you stay in the field, okay? And I actually think there is an empirical slash theoretical basis to make this choice. That is why I stayed 15 months, okay? So, and this comes from anthropology. So, ethnography obviously comes from anthropology as a method, and in its origins, anthropologists were mostly going away outside of their country, their continent, normally to study what they call the pre-modern people. So, tribes in Africa, Asia, in the Pacific, and so on. In anthropological ethnographies, you really get this sense of the yearly cycle that, if you just stay for 6 months, like you miss stuff. And, think about your own life, right? I mean, if people only stay between, observe something in modern society for 6 months, right? They may miss Christmas and summer, right? If they begin in January. Now, Christmas is a massive period, really important period. Even in organizations, there's really amazing pieces. Michael Rosen has written the best ones about Christmas parties in companies. Summer is a period where working companies like really takes on a different rhythm and a different shape. So it's really important to stay for the year, okay? If you're studying a modern society. Now, we're not studying societies, we're studying companies. So how long should you stay in a company? Well, if you think about it, most companies work on a fiscal year, and most organizations that are not companies work on a budget year. So I'll definitely say that if there's any, even if it's trivial, if there's any impact of the fiscal cycle on the people that you're studying, then you should stay for at least a year. Okay? I was studying salespeople, so obviously salespeople basically, their targets are set at the quarter and at the year level. So I had to stay for a year because for them it's not trivial. It's like, it's key. The year is the key. And I stayed for 15 months because I felt that I needed like 3 months to really, I was looking at the business to business sales unit. So it was a really complex, big organization, complex environment, not super easy to understand. So I just felt, I need 3 more months so that when my year starts, then, I've been here for 3 months. Okay. So that's why I did 15 months. So it's 3 months to just, get my bearings, get to know people and so on. And then an entire fiscal budget year, target year. Okay. Now, what are the exceptions to this? So, very famous exceptions are people that are studying medical practice. So, for example, the famous Steve Barley piece on CT scanners. You don't need to stay a year. Although, I would argue that, you do need to stay some time, and you can see that in his 1984 paper, ASQ. You do need to stay some time to, if you're studying the implementation of a new technology, you do need to stay some time to let things pan out. But most medical research, if you're just looking at these medical procedures, operating rooms, and so on, you don't need to stay for a year. Although I would argue that if you can, you should. I mean, especially during your PhD, you won't have any other opportunity to like spend a year doing field work. So you stay a year and you should be there every day. I mean, just the amount of data that you're going to collect if you do this, and the quality of data is amazing. I actually wonder whether Michael Rosen, who wrote about end of year and Christmas parties in companies, if that wasn't just because the data was there, because his research is on different stuff. So so if you stay a year, you can have a paper on parties because you're staying long enough to see these parties, right? So yeah, so definitely I would say stay a year if you can. Only reason not stay a year is, again, if the yearly cycle has no impact upon the people and the phenomenon that you're studying. I'll still encourage you to stay as long as you can, just because you're going to collect more data and data about more things. Okay. And again, the reason is that the yearly cycle, budget cycle, target cycle, fiscal cycle matters in many organizations. In all companies, it matters. And it matters for many people in those companies. The type of tasks that you have to do changes. The type of people that are in the company changes. So like, for example, in the summer, you may have more interns that are in the company. In the winter, you have the auditors doing the end of fiscal year audits. So there's a lot of stuff like really happening. Okay, so stay here. I don't believe in theoretical saturation. There's no such thing as theoretical saturation. If you are observing the same thing every day, you're just not paying attention. There's a lot of things going on. I mean, think about if you work in a university or if you worked on a job before, like, is like, are the years like all the same? No, they're not all the same, right? I think, we should stay here because there is a thesis that you have to write, and and you need to leave to write that thesis. But definitely, if you can, stay longer. Okay, so I wrote that there was a surprise, and I wasn't baiting you. So I want to tell you about how you should live. Not only when, but how you should live. And for that, I have my little red book. Okay? So, you need to acknowledge that you have an impact on people when you are there. And I'll tell you my experience. When I was in this sales unit, this wasn't like a happy place to be. And I felt that when I was sitting next to people, they could talk to me, cheer them up. I was a little bit of a connection to the outside and to a different view on their job. I don't know, but I really felt like sometimes I was a little bit of a solace for people, and that the sales unit was a little bit different because I was there. It was a little bit of a different experience because I was there for bad hair day. So what I thought is, I need to honor this. And as an ethnographer, you know that the transitions are helped by rituals, right? So what I did is, I got this nice red book, hardcover. It's really nice. I don't even know if it's for some brand or not. Doesn't matter. It's not, but it's a beautiful book. Really nice book, and notebook. And when I was leaving, I sent everybody an email and I said, look guys, I'm leaving a couple weeks. I want to go around with my red book, and I want you to sign it. And I thought, well, this would be a nice way to say goodbye to people. I'll keep a memento for myself, and it will be a ritual for me and for them because I was sad to leave too. So, in some pages, as you can see, people just signed. Okay. In other pages, they wrote a lot. Got some nice sentences. Sometimes, I mean, look at this one. How a lot, right? Sometimes I go back and I remember. And I remember, you know, and I read this and brings back the memories, so makes me happy. So I'll just read one for you guys. Joao, it has been an absolute joy to have had the pleasure of your company. Have you spying on us? Well, have you spying on me while I work? I hope that your thesis is as fascinating as it is working here. I hope this is not an ironic remark. I hope you're enjoying your time back in the good old USA. Remember to leave your wallet on the drinks machine. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, really nice memories. And I think it was just a tiny bit good. I'll read this one for you. I love it as well. Joao, really glad to have met you, and although you're leaving, your humor within the workplace will live on. That's so nice from somebody called Claire. I know who Claire is, of course, but you don't. So it was really meaningful to me. I really liked it, and you know, hopefully it was also meaningful to them. And also something that was very flattered is flattering is that, you know, people did leave this unit and they always have a present for them and a postcard, and they did one for me. Look, they also did a little postcard for me, and they wrote a bunch of nice things in this postcard. And they gave me some presents as well, some Lord of the Rings books. I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings. So for me it was a huge treat because I got the same goodbye as one of them. And so in a way they recognized me as one of them. It was very touching. Anyway, so there are lots of good things about ethnography other than just great data. And here it is. Being, you know, those of you who know me, you know I'm like super humble and I don't think very highly of myself. But I also know that, you know, when there's someone, but also there's one thing I think highly of myself, which is I always try to be a good person and to have a very positive impact on others. So I felt that when I was leaving, that had an impact, and that it was respectful of people at Desk Sales to treat my role there seriously. And I was also sad to leave, so this was a nice ritual. Say goodbye. Maybe you can do this if you're still on your fieldwork or going to do. Anyway, so hope this was helpful. TLDR, don't buy the BS on theoretical saturation. That does not exist. Decide your staying time in the field for empirical purposes. Okay? What's the cycle? Is it the quarter, the year? Stay for an entire cycle. If you can go before so that you can get to know people before the cycle starts. If you're looking at individual observations, you know, what I would do is I'll stay there for the year and do like a year's worth of observations. Okay. It's because the year has an impact in us as humans, in our society, and work is done in a societal context. Okay? Anyways, I hope everybody has a super nice weekend. Lovely to be back to streaming this week, and I'll see you next week.